All right, welcome to the fire weather briefing for September 2nd. Got myself Jeremy in Spokane and Brent over in Seattle. We'll start by looking at the next 7 days, and I'll start with the east side. The peak of our concerns this week are on Wednesday and Thursday due to hot, dry, unstable conditions. But we'll have those conditions continuing all the way through Friday over eastern Washington. Over North Idaho, similar concerns, although as we head into Friday, the concerns will transition from a hot, dry, unstable regime to a breezy northeast wind as a system slides off to the east and shifts the winds around over North Idaho. And then the concerns will be diminishing as we head into the weekend as we see a cooling trend, increasing humidities, and a chance for some showers. I'll pass it over to the west side. Go ahead.
Okay, so as Jeremy said, the hot, dry, and unstable, we do have watches out on our side for Wednesday for that. But I will say that today is going to be very close. We have it elevated, and some isolated areas could see some very low RHs and unstable conditions, but it's been more widespread on Wednesday, and then it's improved slightly on Thursday, but then same as Eastern Washington, we start getting the chance of showers in here and cooler onshore flow.
Okay, sounds good. Looking at the problem of the week slide here for the hot, dry, unstable, we do currently have the areas in red highlighted here where there's that fire weather watch. For the east side of the Cascades, that watch for Chelan County is for Wednesday and Thursday. So that's again when the conditions will be peaking. But watch was issued because we do have several active fires in Chelan County. Some that were started by the lightning a couple nights ago. But there's also concerns over northeast Washington and North Idaho, so I don't want to put a lot of emphasis just on Chelan County, and there is a concern about these hot, dry, unstable conditions for our other mountainous zones as well. Brent, anything that you would like to add on this slide?
Just in the same lines, at least for the North Cascade zone, we do have the new Perry fire up there, which will be impacted by these conditions as well.
Okay. All right, looking at the current satellite image, we still have this low off the coast. The difference is this low is now moving away from us. It's moving towards the west. So we're being more under the influence of the hot and dry conditions compared to a couple days ago when the low was closer to the coast and then we had the thunderstorm activity. Looking at this morning's satellite image, east of the Cascades, there is still some mid-level instability over the area. You can see some mid-level cumulus clouds over the northern panhandle and a bit over southeast Washington, but we just aren't seeing enough moisture for lightning out of this. So just going to be hot and dry, and there's also several smoke layers across the region. And it looks like on the west side there is a marine layer with some stratus over parts of Puget Sound and over parts of western Washington. All right, so now we'll go into the general hazards here. It's a pretty messy map. There's several hazards. This gray area is an excessive heat warning, and or extreme heat warning, and that warning also extends into parts of north central Washington, the Okanagan Valley, the Wenatchee area, the Lewiston-Clarkston Valley, and the Moses Lake area is under that extreme heat warning as well. Heat advisories for a lot of other areas, and then this light brown shading is that fire weather watch that's in effect. And to our south, there's some red flag warnings. Moving on to the weather, looking at the temperatures for today. It's going to be quite the contrast between the two sides of the Cascades, with highs in the 70s and 80s west of the Cascades, but near the triple digits for much of the lower elevations east of the Cascades. And minimum relative humidity is also a big contrast. Dry up in the Cascades, even on the west side there, but really dry as you get east of the Cascade crest into all of our area, with a lot of areas getting down to 10 to 20%. And then max relative humidities are going to be very dry again tonight as well. This morning, some places didn't even recover above 30% for the mid slopes and ridge tops. And we've been seeing some active burning on the satellite imagery due to the warm, dry conditions in those thermal belts during the nighttime. And looking at the mixing heights for today, we'll see the highest mixing heights actually over the Idaho Panhandle and over Northeast Washington, but that will change some as we go into tomorrow, which we'll look at next. As we go into tomorrow, we'll see the temperatures increase a couple more degrees, and this is very unusual for early September. Spokane Airport has never hit 100 in September, and we're forecasting that to happen over the next couple days. So this could be an all-time record for the month of September if Spokane does hit 100. The minimum relative humidities will be even a little bit drier tomorrow, and also looks like a little bit drier on the west slopes of the Cascades as well, with again poor humidity recoveries in those mid slopes and ridge tops, and also even in some of the valleys across eastern Washington. And then going to the mixing heights, you can see those mixing heights tomorrow increase even further, and that's when our fire weather watch begins for Chelan County with those really high mixing heights. But really, any fires that are burning tomorrow will have the potential to put up will have the potential to really respond to those unstable conditions. Moving on now to day 3, as we go into Thursday, the temperatures do begin to cool just a little bit east of the Cascades. The humidity is also coming up a bit, but still looking at some poor recoveries. And then our mixing heights are still very high on Thursday east of the Cascades. So we'll be monitoring that. For QPF, this is over the next 7 days. If I show you like days 1 through 3, really not much is showing up on here. But when we go into the extended period, that's when, as we go into the weekend, we have the increased potential for some showers, with the best potential for a wetting rain being in the North Cascades. But there is still some model variability, so I would not count on these exact amounts panning out, but that's what the current outlook is showing. All right, moving on to the trends, I'll pass it back over to Seattle to talk about the next 7 days.
All right, this is Hosamine up in 658 in the very far north, and not too far from where the Perry Fire is along Ross Lake. And you can see we're getting fairly warm today, up into just above low 90s and dipping in the 20% range for RHs, and then even drier and still in the low 90s for tomorrow when we have the fire weather watch out. Winds are not particularly an issue up there, but the instability with the lower RHs will be. And then you can see it slowly recover, at least on the west side. You can, the slightly lower temperatures and the RHs still low, but coming up through the rest of the week and into the weekend, where we see more clouds and the chance of precipitation increasing through the weekend. I'll give it back to you.
All right, thank you. For the east side, we'll look at Wellpinnet, which is pretty close to the rattlesnake fire that's burning in southern Ferry County. But it's forecast to be up into the triple digits the next few days, and relative humidity getting down around 10%. That's pretty incredible for this time of year. And then we see the general moistening trend and cooling trend as we head into the weekend. And then for North Idaho, we'll look at McGee Peak, which is close to the Ulm Creek fire that's burning active just to the east of there. And you can see poor humidity recoveries, and this may even be too high. This morning, McGee Peak only recovered to 23%, and I don't think it's going to be higher tonight. So very poor recoveries, and then daytime relative humidity is getting down into the teens, and high temperatures up around 90, even up at the higher elevations. But then you can see definitely a cooling trend and an increase in relative humidity as we go into the weekend. All right, the 8 to 14 day outlook is favoring around normal temperatures for the area, with increased odds for above normal precipitation as we head into next week. So maybe some changes, definitely some changes compared to the record conditions that we have this week. All right, so that concludes the fire weather briefing. Seattle, anything you'd like to add before I stop the recording?
Yeah, no, I think that's it for this side.
Okay. All right, I'll go ahead and stop the recording.